Hey everyone, it's Kyle at Ride IQ. We're doing a jog video today for you, for those of you who are trying to get to the RRP or going to a 3-day. This will give you a sense on what the people that are judging you are looking for and how you should present your horse, hopefully, or your chicken if you need to get your chicken jogged up. Okay, so Jen's gonna bring her horse up and stop as though I was the ground jury or the judges, and she's gonna stop in front of me. Ideally, your horse halts square. I would say that's square enough. I wouldn't be too worked up about it, but you do want them to be somewhat balanced over themselves. Remember, at the RRP, they are looking at your conformation on the horse, so you want to give a good presentation. Jen stands in front of the horse with her hands on either rein to keep the horse stable. So if the horse starts to get worried and come this way, she can take on the other rein and kind of keep squaring it up. And you will guaranteed have horses getting nervous in these environments. This horse is just particularly well behaved, which is why we're using her. Once you are about to jog off for your horses, what you're going to do is you're going to take the reins into one hand and you're going to put, I feel the best way to do it is do what Jen's done here, where she's holding both reins like this in her hand so that she can steer. So right now she could turn the horse's head a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right without having to actually move her hands out of the middle of the horse's chest. So as the horse goes forward as well, she has a chance to kind of use the bit to round it up, which is going to give a better presentation of your horse if necessary. It also allows you to maybe help pick their neck up if that's going to give you a better presentation, but it stabilizes better than if you just hold on to it like you're holding onto a lead rope. And that is the whole point of jogging up in a bridle. Now, we want to have energy. We want the horse to go forward. And if your horse has an incredibly big step, you might want to show it off in a nice open stride. But the big thing is you want your horse to line up near your shoulder. So right now where Jen is perfect. When she goes to walk off, most people will walk forward. Just walk forward. Don't bring the horse. They'll walk forward and then they'll pull the horse. Go like you're doing it wrong. Pull. Get out in front and pull. So they'll do this and then the horse's neck comes up and the balance goes. Just swing her back around. You cannot get in front of the horse and drag them along, okay? It's like trying to lead a donkey. It's got to come from the back end. So you have to train yourself and your horse to make sure that when you move, your horse moves with you. So Jen's going to come back up again and present correctly. So she's going to come up. She'll just halt, but she's not going to re-present with standing in front of the horse to save time. All right, and then she's going to move off. She's going to cluck, maybe give the horse a little tap, but she probably could just cluck to move her up, and then she'll walk and start to move forward to trot. And this horse was obviously a bit sleepy in the step off, so partly that's because we've been standing here talking, and it's not really fair to the horse to be expecting it to just move off sharply, but we need it to move off sharply, so she should cluck and probably tap behind her body. There. So now we've got enough energy to trot and present. And you see where Jen's staying right beside the horse and keeping her hand in front and in the middle of the horse's chest. If your hand goes off to the side, you'll turn their head and that will make them. So if we take the horse's head to the right, which is what most people do, sorry, to the left, which is most people do because the horse is running. What happens is you lengthen the outside of the horse and you shorten the inside of the horse. And because of that, the horses strike and do this and often look irregular. So you need to have them as straight as possible as you're doing this. So this time Jen's going to go off doing the same thing, but she's just going to give it a little wake up before she trots off. And I really believe that you try to train them to follow your body. So I would always suggest you walk 6 to 8 strides, then trot, pull up 6 to 8 strides before you're turning, so you're nice and straight, turn 6 strides at least in the walk, and then trot again. You don't need to spend a ton of time in the trot, you need to present correctly. So we're gonna let Jen take this horse and have her move forward. And then she strikes off better. Look, we'd love to have a bit more energy in that, but again, we are not in the environment right now, and sometimes you can create a really stressed horse here, and then you go to jog them up in front of the grounder and the things are running all over top of you. So again, she gets her straight and then she strikes off, and you can see again the horse is staying beside Jen as she jogs. And you have a nice regular rhythm as you do it. Always turn your horse away from you when you're turning them. You'll see that Jen went around the barrel on the outside of the horse. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. It's usually you think about turning a horse, you turn to the inside, but actually you want to stay on the outside because then you can control a little bit better the line of the horse. As far as presentation, obviously you'd be braiding your horse most likely. You want them to be tidy. You want to have oiled their feet. You're probably going to be on a harder surface than this. I think that being on a softer surface is probably, you know, a little bit nicer for the horse. If you're on pavement, be careful not to get going too forward because horses with shoes on pavement slip. And if your competition isn't savvy enough to put something down on top of the pavement to help keep them stable, it can cause a serious problem. I would always show up with a dressage whip, even if I'm not going to use it in the jog itself, but over in the warming up, just so in case I need to sort of get them a little bit sharper. The other thing is when you're using that whip, like if I'm jogging the horse, I'm going to pretend, but I'm on this side, I'm going to just do that. So I don't have to look to know that I'm getting a tap, and you can see I'm there. So the horse is now, when I cluck, the horse moves off because I tapped and clucked to begin with. So I like to do it back there for sure and not make a big, like I don't want to have to look around at it. You just have to be able to just tap there. There we go. Yeah, soft rein, don't be pulling them either direction. You want to really keep everything nice and straight and rhythmic. And if you need some time to get them to relax in this environment, take them up and hand graze them, get them introduced to it, because you don't need to have them freaking out up there, which is typically what happens. Anyways, I hope you guys found that beneficial, and we'll show you how to jog a chicken in a different episode.